imagine OG looking at like, well, we should have banned that.
We'll check out some of the highlights from that game number 1 here, brought to you by the Score Esports, of course, and you could see already No-Tail desperate to make it away. I believe this was when Track was already getting ready to come online. No, not quite
Doom
yet.
was so tanky.
This part was ridiculous. I mean, look at Yang. He just is like, all right, well, I'm going to go Doom this guy. I'm going to run right back in.
Two different times that Juan found so much value to keep him alive and just continue to truck on forward.
And they just slowly but surely keep on moving in deeper, getting kill after kill. FY in range for the experience there, which he did need pretty badly.
Oh, and
just gets the shuriken off.
This leads to the
roll
fly
in,
return, roll
misses
in.
the dust.
Yeah, and
then, well, the game was already over at 28 minutes.
Yeah,
so.
at this point, it's like
we pretty much
nearly
missed all the key moments with these highlights. But, I mean, for me, it wasn't just like the bottle snipe and that great start they had. They were up 4 or 5K gold after that. I think one of the most interesting points in the game was something that Fogg, you were talking about, was when he was just running around in the bottom lane hunting the Spectre in the trees. Didn't even kill him, but like after like a minute of persistence, FY gets the track off. And then Miracle makes the walk of shame all the way back from where his tier 1 was, all the way like to the base, because he can't farm anywhere. It's not safe.
Yeah, Miracle was farming the lane out. They knew he was there. The Doom starts rotating down. He goes in the jungle, and Miracle was very aware of that. So he daggers into the trees, and he runs all the way over. And you just see the bounty hunter running down there. He pings, and he sees the dagger, and then he just stays there for at least 30 more seconds, puts the ward up on that high ground in that spot that you don't really see too often, and he just keeps running around. He's just like, I know Miracle is here. Miracle pops out, gets the track.
Just constantly keeping him in check.
Such good presence of mind.
I mean, it wasn't just like, oh, early game pressure. It was relentless pressure from minute 0. And when they get a slight advantage, they push it further. They were pretty disciplined overall, taking Roshan, not diving too much. We didn't see 4 heroes, going in super deep and then getting bought back on. One other thing that we touched on briefly, but I mean, the saga of Oracle continues, guys. This hero is not winning games, has not been impressive aside from one game where Seneko played a spectacular, I would almost say semi-core Oracle, who got a lot of space and farm. It didn't really feel like it countered anything much. I guess the Lion Hex potentially, but nobody's feeling the Oracles right now on the analyst desk, and I mean, maybe they're expecting something different out of VG.
I believe the magic number is 22.2% win rate this tournament with the Oracles. So,
so that's a 2 out of 9.
And we saw the draft, and we were trying to wrap our head around it. Like, the only feasible way it was possibly picked up there is maybe a bit of a deny pick, but
I thought maybe it was to, like, I guess, secure the lane in a way. Like, okay, they may have been prepping for the Spectre later on, and they're like, all right, Oracle gives us a bit of the damage that we need between these 3 heroes, but Doom was level 5 super early in that lane. Level 5, he has a magic wand. They even rotate down the Earth Spirit at that point, and they can't kill him.
And the thing is, that goes back to the Bounty Hunter, because they're busy chasing Bounty Hunter around their own jungle. Nobody's ganking that lane. Nobody's pressuring the Doom. At best, you have a 2-hero matchup, and then I think at that point, both supports had come back to hunt the Bounty Hunter, so it was just Spectre versus Doom. Like,
Doom's
going to do great there.
OG was put in a position where they needed the Earth Spirit to be able to do so much, because he was kind of like, he was their damage in that lineup, unless the Spectre got like massive somehow, because Batrider loses his bottle, like we were saying. That hero doesn't really do too much damage unless you're like ahead by a good margin.
Moon got shut down.
Moon got shut down. Where's their damage coming from? It's all single target. It's all just like these right clicks and a dagger, a boulder, sure, okay, the Earth Spirit, but like I was saying, the Earth Spirit needed more levels. He needed to be able to do so much in that lineup. Oracle, same thing, single target.
Yeah, Earth Spirit probably to boost up the laning phase, then your Haunt comes online, you got your global presence with your Nature's Prophet, and you're making a huge mid-game impact, but the Bounty Hunter effect just doesn't even let them get any sort of momentum their way.
Yeah, the other plopped on a healing ward.
Yeah, the healing ward did some work towards the end there. In that key dive, they forced a double buyback, and it turned into a double dieback on Earth Spirit and Nature's Prophet. Heal right back up, survive through it. The one other player who I think really deserves mention, and he goes unnoticed probably far too often, is DDC. DDC's Lion. There was the time top lane where Spectre haunts in, Earth Spirit's diving him, he stuns both, he quick draw fingers the Earth Spirit, gets the kill in the experience before going down, and that was just a microcosm of the game. His Blink Dagger was almost as fast as No-Tail's. As a 4-position support with No-Tail getting stacks in the jungle, he played out of his mind, and I think DDC, I mean, you can see it here from the numbers. He had a fantastic game.
Definitely something that might need to deserve a bit more respect in the drafting. That's for sure. But
it's tough though. Like you
first pick.
Yeah.
They're gonna pick it first phase occasionally, and I mean maybe second phase ban at best. But I don't think you can first phase ban it. So you're just gonna have to deal with it.
Not.
Yep.
So what's the key here? Was it just, oh, if they banned Bounty Hunter, the game would have been different? Is it No-Tail just is a bit rusty playing against the hero, should have had the bottle ferried out? Like, I mean, we've talked about a lot of different things. What do you think, Giannis?
I think just the overall concept of their draft just seemed a little bit weird to me. I think they were just like relying so heavily on this Batrider just having like the best game in the world, and Furin having just an incredible game, which they both got shut down super hard. And like I'm saying, like there's no damage coming out from their lineup. I don't really know what they were planning on.
Like, how do they actually get the kills unless Spectre's
Exactly.
fat, you're saying?
Yeah, like how do they really get the jump on people either?
So
Batrider got shut down.
should it have been like a Miracle Sven instead, something that can fight more early? They had already banned Gyro. Ember was banned, I think, at that point. Oh, no, he wasn't. Would Ember have been better?
Maybe, but it's really hard to tell just because of that bottle snipe really does make such a big difference. It really hurts No-Tail so much, and it showed. No-Tail was getting caught out all over the place after that. It just maybe just hurt him on the inside. He was just like,
and let's be like, it seemed like No-Tail was tilting. Like, he died before getting the blink, immediately came back, died again, was playing too aggressive, was getting punished repeatedly. But I mean, you get bottle sniped that early, like you're gonna be tilted. I don't know there's a player in the world who wouldn't be at that point.
I feel like you just can't let that happen, though.
Yeah.
You can't. You know the bounty hunter's there. You have tools in order to bring it out. I was saying during the game going on, he could have just Earth Spirit could have just grabbed it, rolling bouldered it in with the
50
bottle.
mana,
and
no big deal.
That's like no downtime. If anything, it might even be faster than the career.
Yeah. Well, mistakes were made.
Yeah.
OG have to live with it. So, do we see a first phase ban bounty hunter? Do they game plan better for it?
I mean,
Bounty Hunter counters, if you want to give it away. We saw EG pioneer the Spirit Breaker. Just carry dust. As soon as Bounty Hunter shows himself, you charge. Someone else comes, and you kill the little yellow goblin.
You know what's
bastard.
funny, actually? Aside from EG also pioneering that Spirit Breaker, another pioneer that they did against VG Gaming and FY's Bounty Hunter, I believe this was at TI5 during the group stage, was the Treant Protector.
Yep.
And they did the living
yeah.
armor globally, and everywhere FY could go, he couldn't get anything done. I think he ended up even like 0-8 or something that game. Just really could not find any sort of groove.
And that's where, like, I look at the series, and that's exactly how Vici lost the best of 3 to EG. Was they won game 1 just like this with the Bounty Hunter. It was played more as a pure counter jungler, not as just like a harasser, but if they just like blindly go for it each game, I think OG might be able to figure them out. So I would like to see Vici not be afraid to change it up, pull something else out. But they have set themselves up well in the draft heading into game 2, that's for sure.
The 5th pick bounty, though.
They got a 5th pick. Like,
So
that's the really painful part if you're OG.
So they probably just swap out the ban. That time they banned out the enchant. I mean, given that this time they'll probably have a different first pick, of course. But that first game they had banned out the Enchantress, so I figured that's the one you sub out because they did what, Beastmaster and Enchantress as their 1-2 bans.
Yes.
So maybe keep the Beastmaster ban and then sub out the Enchantress for the Bounty Hunter instead.
Also, is Spectre the hero they want to be putting Miracle on? Because to me, like, it's just not playing to his strengths. Like, of course he's gonna, if given space, be fantastic mechanically, maximize his farm, be intelligent with when he haunts, but he
already
can't
have a
like
draft.
win them the game from the laning stage with Spectre.
I think the Spectre could have been okay if everything else just went fine. And
Well,
looks
let's
like we are
see
jumping
what
right into
they
the draft.
let's see what they do. VG Gaming again going to be banning out the
Invoker.
Wisp. So now they got to ban what we anticipate being the Invoker. Yep. And now OG Bounty Hunter. We would assume, unless they're going to do the EG approach. And
There are counters to Bounty Hunter. He's not an invincible hero.
Yeah.
It's just they got a 5th pick and they had no opportunity to counter at that point. So I don't know if they'll ban it, but they will definitely have a game plan.
I wonder if you're VG Gaming, you look at OG, and let's say they don't ban the Bounty Hunter. Do you go, something's a bit fishy. We probably will look to pass on it altogether or not. Probably will dramatically change up their play style at that point here.
Is there anything else huge for VGR that they would just love to get their hands on? We saw the FY Earth Spirit. Actually a game in that they lost, but I think he had like 8 kills for the team at 7 minutes or something crazy. Anything else that comes to mind for you?
Maybe. I feel like the first pick Earth Spirit hasn't really been working out so much for all these teams, though. OG doesn't want to deal with it anyway. They banned it out, but Bounty Hunter's in the pool.
I don't think I really don't think
Doom.
they're gonna
Yeah,
first
Doom.
pick it. They're not gonna first pick a Bounty Hunter, but it's something OG may have to blow a ban on 2nd or 3rd stage.
So they opt for the Doom again. This does limit the hero pool options a bit for OG, and there is some flexibility there. Of course, Yang could play it in the off lane, and FY has played it as well in the 4 position. So it's just one of those things that you don't really know. You're not showing your hand with this.
So no crit IO, but the fly junglers are out there. The Enchantress, the Chen, if they want to go for that.
I've not seen OG play much Chen at all recently. Definitely not yet in this tournament, it looks like.
Crit's also recently be playing that Enchantress for them.
Yeah.
At least the last two
Oh,
times
that's
they
right,
picked it
that's
up.
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, junglers are available if they're interested.
Just Doom deters you from picking so many heroes.
I mean, you could go for like, maybe if they want to grab the Ember early, you can go like Ember Lion and then limit VGR's tools for dealing with it. I feel like the Ember has been really effective for this team. We've seen 2 games now where Miracle was dominant.
And I mean, if it was any other tournament, it'd be like, let's bring up the OD at this point, but might continue to get ignored and put on the sidelines.
I mean, Doom is also just amazing
Yeah, that's
versus
true.
OD.
Yeah, he's not actually that ridiculous against Ember on his own, but it's when you have that one other hero to like guarantee that you get the Doom off that he gets really scary.
I feel like OG maybe should just take the Lion.
I was just going to
Lion
say that,
plus
yeah.
1. Like,
I'm
I'm pretty sure
like that
Vinci's just
idea.
going to take the Lion instantly if it's there.
Why not? It shuts down so many options. Like, it kind of shuts down like the Miracle carries the team solo strategy when you have Doom Lion. Like, if that's the only hero that's doing anything or having a good start, he's gonna get fingered, hex, doomed to die. So,
Do you go back for the Nature's Prophet again, even though, yeah, I know Moon didn't look to have a great performance for in game number 1, but that could be
it says a
due
lot
to
about
the
it says a
early
lot
game
about your
impact.
lanes. Generally, we have seen the no-tail safe lane Prophet, so I guess if they want to run that, it's an option as well. Enchantress. Oh, the jungler we talked about.
And like Yannis was talking about, I wouldn't
Do it.
mind seeing them grab up the Lion
Do
just to
it.
take that away from
But
VG game.
yeah, I mean,
I don't think that they will.
picking
but
both of your supports phase 1.
Unless it's an NA offlane Enchantress, am I right?
they probably just will take the Batrider again. Oh, no,
They
they
are
just take the
gonna do
Lion.
it.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Nice
Good.
call, bud.
Good stuff.
This is good. So DDC
I got a little
has got to
worried.
be like, dang, I got to play something else.
So
And it's going to be a Witch
That's a good
Doctor.
response.
great support versus Enchantress. Very stable pick in general.
It's got to be a nice little boost of confidence, I would suppose, for VG.Reborn. You're looking at a team like OG, who's coming to this matchup, and in the eyes of most people out there, you know, they are the favorites in this. And now you're looking at a situation where OG are being
They're
responsive in the draft.
block
you know?
picking,
Yeah, they're like,
they're
we have to
changing
be
their bans.
defensive in this draft almost, while VG.Reborn, like, we're just going to play our game, and now you have to be, you know, responsive to us.
You have to be changing up so much. You know, they just forced them to pick an Enchantress Lion as first
Yeah.
two.
It-
That's pretty scary.
I mean, DDC's just got to be sitting there, and you know, there's at least that small part of him, like, yeah, I'm pretty freaking good at Lion.
He's
Like,
like,
they
yeah.
just picked that hero so
I'm the
I
man.
couldn't play it. It does open up the second stage as well, potentially, so I think you should ban Ember here, or pick something that's really good at countering him.
Still have stuff
Sound
like
like
the
a gyro ban.
Yeah,
Or a gyro
gyro.
pick.
An old man groaning in the
I heard
background.
some noise.
Oh, that was just Nahaz. Don't worry about it.
Dang, you beat me to the joke. He's such an easy target.
Yeah,
It's
that's
funny because
terrible.
he's right in here, and he gave a great reaction, as he always does.
Yeah.
Also need to consider, of course, the Moon Meander option. Do you think a Bat Rider
By the
is-
way, I just want to say, if I see Moon Meander on a cliff as Nature's Prophet, I don't think I'm going to have to watch anymore because the game's probably over. Like, every time Moon has been on that damn cliff on the Radiant side, the game's been over. So it is a harbinger of ill.
The only Furions that have won have been short lane Furions, right?
Mostly,
like
yeah.
that, yeah.
All of them.
Yeah, I'm seeing Nahaz
Oh,
nod.
there
so I
is the
think
Bat
that's
Rider
right.
grab for OG. So
They banned OD, and what is that other one? No, you're going the wrong direction. Death Prophet.
Yeah. So OG did ban the Gyrocopter, and then they grabbed the Bat Rider.
do you just shove this Doom over into an offlane position, go right for something like the Vengeful Spirit here? Do they give their own turn and see if they can help out the Oracle win rate?
No Oracle. Not very good against Enchantress either. So
I mean, there's still a bounty in the pool again.
I mean, it is an Enchantress.
I mean, they don't have to pick it right here, of
Right.
course. Like, they definitely wouldn't pick it on the third, but
Maybe on fourth.
they banned the Jug, they banned the Gyro, so they have ZYF Sven, they have ZYF's.
They like
Lifestealer.
they like to play Night Stalker versus Bat Rider for the vision advantage. To
Oh, that could definitely be the pickup here.
limit the initiation potential.
Oh, yeah, Night Stalker.
Does it weaken your lanes too much? Do you think? Because they can't get like a really strong safe laner like Gyro to have free reign on his own. That's the only thing I'd be worried about.
Maybe a little bit, but in the actual idea of the whole game, the Night Stalker seems like it could be really good here.
Yeah, like for the long view. Again, it could also be a 4th pick. We've seen the Mikasa Wind Ranger a couple games now. Is that his hero this time around? Puck was the other big one, but against the Lion Batrider, that feels like a difficult matchup. I mean, you've said you really don't like that Lion Puck matchup, so.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it can be okay, but you end up just you get to a point where the Lion will have that Blink Dagger, and you probably end up dying at least once or twice because of getting caught out from it.
Queen of Pain.
You get the Queen of Pain,
Available.
then they later pick up the ZYF Lifestealer.
There it
Oh! Coddle God with the calls.
Or you just get the Lifestealer now.
Actually, he said later on, so.
Yeah.
No, that was definitely a really good call there. Very good versus the Enchantress. So
and the Lion as well.
Yeah, and versus the Lion.
They do need a vehicle, though. Maybe it is going to be a Puck or a Quap.
Lycan. That is a...
Ramps up the tempo a little bit.
That is a big change-up from OG. I don't even know if I've ever seen them play it before. Have they?
Now they...
I don't know if they ever have, actually.
I really don't think
It's
so.
not just like, oh, they don't
through
play it that
here.
much. I'm
Nope.
not sure they've ever run
I'm
it.
scrolling through here, all of their games. Lycan. Nope. You'd have to go quite far back, I'm sure.
A page out of the Navi VP playbook, perhaps.
You still have some wiggle room here if you're VG.
I mean, you've
Reborn
gone back
to work
like
with, though.
3 months already.
Yeah, this is
They're not
I mean,
a Lycan team.
scrims, yep. I'm sure they maybe have toyed with it a bit, but
Pretty good matchup versus Lifestealer with the move speed. Good at pushing. That is a weakness for VGR right now. They do not have D-push. They do not have wave clear.
Oh.
There's one of them.
There you go.
well, I actually was going to suggest.
Oh,
and we've seen
it's the ancient nonsense with the Ion Shell Surge and the infested dragons and golems. We're gonna see some cheese from VGR here, guys.
I actually thought this would have been one of the few times where a Faceless Void could have finally seen some playtime and not just banned. I mean, against the Batrider, and well, now I can't think of it because we're not looking at the draft right now, but Darkseer instead. But it doesn't offer really additional lockdown, though, to stop the Lycan and as he race cars through. So I wonder if they need to kind of provide some extra disable and CC. Which Dr. Coconut's okay, but it's, you know.
Yeah, I mean that
super
is
dependent.
That's more about the Enchantress, I suppose.
Yeah, so they will still need a way to stop the Lycan from his high tempo action.
So they could definitely go for the Mikasa. Oh no, they actually banned out the Queen of Pain themselves here. So they.
I think they want Puck.
Yeah.
But like Ember, it feels like a good Ember game. I thought they were gonna ban it second stage.
So Moon is on the Batrider.
So they need a Mikasa hero that deals well with Ember. I'm pretty sure Miracle will dominate him 1v1. It's not even going to be 1v1. Enchantress is going to be there. So if you pick Puck, like, you're going to have a bad time. But what else do you pick?
It depends on, I mean, if it's his hero pool, like it's been TA, Puck. Have yet to see a Viper this tournament?
Well, the Darkseer pick does reveal that the Doom is a support, right?
Maybe he plays OD.
Yeah, or jungle Darkseer, I guess. But
That'd be.
yeah, that'd be very odd.
I mean, Alliances running. I've seen EGM play the jungle Darkseer thing twice in officials.
you know, one of those is going offlane. And
Yeah,
it
they
is the
just,
Puck,
they have to
but
just go for the Puck. There's not
this
really
is
any
a
other
really
options.
good Ember game overall. And
Call it.
I
What do
think
we
it's
got?
OG.
You're saying OG? Vagd.
Vici.
Vici.
Why Vici now?
I don't have time.
Just have a hunch?
Yep.
Fine. I'm going with OG on this one, boys. So with that, we'll see what the casters think. Let's throw it over to the Cyber Sports Arena, where we got Ayesee and GoDz. Gentlemen, take it away.
Well, welcome back to the floor of the Cyber Sports Arena. Game number 2 of this best of 3. And so far, it's looking a little lopsided. OG really got to get it together and live up to their namesake. OGs never die, man. And, yeah, they're up against elimination now as VGR just flat rolled them over in Game 1. Coming into Game 2, what jumps off the screen as the key points for both sides for you right now?
Miracle Ember Spirit. Get it online fast. Let him take control of the game. He did it in both wins over Alliance. He was on this hero. He's got a good matchup against Mikasa in terms of play over his play. He's got a good matchup in terms of the heroes, and he's got the Enchantress to roam mid as well. So for OG, it's all about that mid lane, all about the Ember Spirit. For VGR, it's about their off lane. Darkseer and Doom together, these two can put tremendous pressure onto the safe lane of OG.
Well, it looks like we do have a quick pause, so we'll have a few minutes before we're ready to jump into the action. But, yeah, it looks like just a quick reconnect. No, I completely agree with you. That's what intrigues me as well, is how much pressure are they going to be able to put on from minute one. And we've seen how quickly things can really spiral out of control. And, well, we got a pretty damn good look at it last game. It started out kind of slow, back and forth. Before you know it, OG just ran away with it. What do you think of the prediction that we're going to see some cheese, the ion shell, the surge, all that kind of stuff? Do you believe this is a pub? Like, is this a legitimate pro build? Is this just some cheese that maybe you can catch your opponent off guard with? But how do you feel about it in general?
The ancient creep has definitely been integrated into pretty much all pro lifestealer play. It's whether or not you go for the full radiance, which that's more the gimmicky, generally not seen part of the lifestealer. But for me, taking an ancient creep is core. Like, you want to do that when you're pushing towers. You get your lifesteal inside an ancient. He goes in, and even more so when you get level 2 or level 3 infest, the damage output from this spell, it gets really big, and you can get. It starts the cooldown, so if you can get 2 infests off in a fight, first the ancient creep, then a second one, that's an 800 AoE damage nuke at level 16. Before that, it's still a decent 550 damage at level 11. So it's well worth using the infested ancient creep into a fight.
Well, and, you know, it's becoming a bit of an emerging story. Like, the Lifestealer's seen a fair amount of play at this event so far, at least from what I understand in comparison to others. So seeing him picked up, seeing him really being considered more than just a surprise kind of pocket pick, not something that you know, is certainly not as core to most teams' game plans as, say, a Puck or a Lion, Enchantress certainly, but a hero that's really seeing his star rise. So it's fun to watch that develop out here. 10 seconds till the runes spawn. Let's see how things are going to set up. Looks like Miracle going to chase our chained hero away. And, yeah, he'll double back. He'll be taking this, and up at top, looks like it's going to be the same true of VGR as they give it to the Puck. So as the heroes head to lane, let's take a look at who's handling who. That Lifestealer we were just talking so much about, he'll be farming the safe lane. He's going to be played by End. Doom going to be handled by FY, and we'll see where he's going to wind up. He's gone boots first, but making his way now into his own jungle. The Witch Doctor is going to be helping out bottom lane. That's going to be played by DDC. Puck, no surprise, played by Mikasa. Played a great Wind Ranger in game 1. Now looking to have that same effect with our Shakespearean hero. And then, of course, Yang on the Darkseer. He's going to be out in the off lane. We can actually see, I want to just take a moment to interrupt myself and look at where FY is wound up. He's all the way over here at the enemy side lane camp.
Oh, Bat right at bottom lane. Has taken a lot of damage. May give up a First Blood. Moon's Fairy Fire will save his life.
Well, I guess we'll pick it up there. Just keep. Oh! Look at him. He's actually going to get the courier. FY has tracked it down. Did it on the bounty. Somewhat expected there. I thought he was hanging out just to, it's so brilliant. He devoured the big creep out of the lane and then just smoked himself and went and got it. Beautiful play and a big lead straight off the bat for VGR. I am going to get through this. So OG has Fly playing on the Lion as he's pulling the camp and helping out in top lane. Enchantress played by Crit, going to work in his jungle. Ember Spirit played by Miracle here in mid. The Bat Rider played by Moon. We saw him dodge a bullet or two down at bottom, but the Lycan's going to be farmed by No Tail.
That is some next level courier sniping. Enchantress just pings it now, like almost as if someone in TeamSpeak was just saying like, what happened? How did you lose? How does Doom kill a courier? Like who messed up? Who misplayed? But there was no mistake there. It was just a Boots Doom.
Boots smoke Doom going up there at minutes, basically, minute 1 to make that happen.
What a start. Enchantress now looking to get active on the map. Has got 2 neutral creeps smoke up towards his mid lane. Hoping perhaps that the Puck's going to make a direction towards that top room, but instead it's Fly securing a haste, and I don't think this Darkseer's got a good way out of this gank.
No, I'm actually surprised that wasn't spotted. He should have seen that happen. I know the Enchantress was smoked, but still, she's on the map, and Crit secures an easy one, but no, he had a ward there. He
sees the hasted Lion, but the Lion alone can't kill him, which is why he plays a bit greedier there. Because the Enchantress is smoked, that gank works. So you can fault him a little bit because Enchantress is missing from the map, but your assumption is that Enchantress is in the jungle.
Understandable. Down at bottom, the Doom is playing a little bit more orthodox this time. He is... he's sitting at 195 mana for now, so you actually can't use the Tornado, but eventually he will be using that on a stack, so that'll be a nice...
Yeah, he's hoping actually to find a new... He's got Devour up. He wants to find either a Satyr, which is actually there if he searches a bit more, or a Mud Golem. He's going to stack this and hope for a Mud Golem. Although it's actually, you can't stack this to the right. Bit of a misplay from FY.
Yeah.
Annoying little camp. This camp, you want to stack it and then kind of, well, check the room, which you can't do at 3 minutes to begin with, but...
check the room in 3 minutes?
Yep.
Good plan.
That's some next level FY plays, but...
just making sure it's not there.
He actually devoured the purge creep, so I think he was just devouring a purge creep and
Got
then making his way towards mid lane.
Gotcha.
Diakuria is back, Bottle, Magic Stick, the Miracle, Ember Spirit at mid lane, going to be a lot happier now.
Well, let's see. The Enchantress going to be found by FY. Yang's there, but he doesn't have a ton of mana. He does have a Scorched Earth. He does go ahead and use the Purge. And he has the Scorched Earth if he wants to do something with it. But, I mean, what can you do, I suppose? Crit using the Nature's Attendance, just forcing him to burn some mana, it seems.
Little did FY know there was actually no points in Untouchable. He could have gone for an Infernal Blade there. Typically, you can never Infernal Blade an Enchantress with Untouchable, but Crit plays a very unique skill build with this Enchantress, focusing much more towards the Nature's Attendance heal.
Oh, Moon is taken to the jungle, beginning to clear some stacked camps. He's level 4.5 now, 500 gold tucked away. Been a relatively quiet early game. We saw the crazy Courier snipe and the First Blood, of course, but since then it's kind of settled down. How do you feel the status quo is looking for both sides right now?
It's looking great for VGR in my mind. They've gotten a decent amount of farm on all their core heroes. Mikasa is holding his own in mid against Miracle on Puck. He's matching him for farm. A lot of this comes back to the Courier snipe, which just meant that OG couldn't be as active in the map. Hero like an Enchantress, you possibly want to bring out a smoke so you can go get active. Did have the one smoke later on, but the first smoke gank, finding the Darkseer, getting First Blood is nice, but it's not quite the outcome for the early game laning stage that OG would have hoped for.
Yeah. I think the Darkseer is doing quite well, especially in comparison to the Bat. I mean, the Bat went and took stacked jungle camps, and he's just about tied with Yang's DS. So once again, another solid off-lane performance. And, you know, I love the DS pick. I always have. I mean, when you look at this lineup, what do you think is the natural synergy other than the obvious, which is vacuum into coil?
There's not a huge amount of teamfight wombo combo out of this. You can, well, you vacuum into the coil, I guess the coil, and have the lifestealer just pop out from an infest. But more than anything, it just gives them like a good hero to carry the mech. It also contests the lanes, and it's going to allow them to just have a teamfight edge over the OG side. So we'll see what the lifestealer does as far as his involvement with the Darkseer. Iron Shell onto the infested Ancient Creep was something that the analyst talked about. Iron Shell in general, just on lifestealer on Doom, is going to be big. So more than anything, I feel like Darkseer's actually picked up for the Iron Shell and the Surge this game than the actual vacuum combos.
Yeah, it makes sense. I see, and that's the kind of thing. I want to make sure I wasn't missing anything.
Yeah.
Like, you saw the obvious, but I knew there were more to it, and that's why we have you here. And I just make noises, and you fill people's brains.
You do much more than make noises, Aaron.
Depends on who you ask. Anyway, Miracle in some trouble, and there's going to be a coil. He will make it away. He's going to spot the bounty rune. He will go and throw another remnant that's going to be into a stacked creep camp. Either way, he's going to make it away back to safety. And up atop in the meantime, that pushing power of No Tail, not quite at full potential as he is short of level 6, but you know, it's so tough. Even when you're this strong, the Ion Shell can slow things down. This tower's still sitting at about half health. Yang is there, as is FY. And I don't know. Let's see, what level is FY? He's still just 4.
They're ready to try and fight this one. No Tail preemptively ulting, trying to secure this tower, but the beauty of putting that Iron Shell onto himself, he's now got another Iron Shell. He can double up, get FY with an Iron Shell as well, and this tower will be defended. No Tail either was scared of a gank there or perhaps thought he could go for a kill with the line, but as soon as Doom popped out, he quickly realized, hey, gotta get back.
Yeah, and you know, Darkseer is going to be able to hold this tower for quite some time. I mean, if he just keeps Ion Shelling and avoiding any potential pressure, yeah, you're not going to slow the Lycan's farm down, and that's a concern in and of itself, but just being able to keep this one tower up a little bit longer can make quite a big difference.
Now, the team with the line always look at that level 6 timing and fly on pretty good track to hit that sometime in the next minute or two. So that's where we'll probably see the next big smoke play come out of OG, try and use that finger to find a core hero pick off. But for now, they want to get that fast tower. But VGR ready to contest this top lane have smoked up both Puck and Doom.
Yang has a little bit of mana. He did put a point into wall at 6. Doesn't have a point into vacuum, oddly enough. Let's see if they're going to be able to find a target. There's the coil onto Fly. Fly silence now, going to try to TP away. Yep, bashed out of it. And he will get off an Earth Spike before he drops, but he drops nonetheless. So we end up seeing VGR find their way onto the board. In mid, in the meantime, looks like there was a kill onto the Witch Doctor.
Yeah, Miracle, presumably. As soon as that gank happens top lane, Miracle knows that there's no one sitting behind Witch Doctor mid, so it becomes a quote-unquote free kill for him. As we'll see, Miracle claim the top rune, managing to outright click Mikasa to grab that one. So he's level 8 in a bit. Mikasa slightly behind. He's going to find himself ensnared up. Miracle not going for the kill here.
Miracle, like you said, level 8, coming up on level 9 before too terribly long. And, you know, I'm looking across. I mean, Crit so far, he's 1-0-0. He had that opening first blood. Do you feel like he's doing enough work on the Enchantress right now, or like he needs to be doing a bit more?
He's been very good at just harassing and assisting the lanes. We've seen him send neutral creeps towards this mid lane continuously. We've seen him stack some of the jungle camps, and then the one successful first blood. But it has been a much quieter Enchantress performance than what we saw earlier in the term. If anything, today we've seen a number of Enchantress picks just not work out too well.
Yang in some trouble. Speaking of not working out too well, hanging around in the wrong part of town a little too long. And that's going to give OG their 3rd kill of the game, and they're beginning to show their combat potential fairly well.
Now, if they can get this tier 1 tower off, that will be the important objective that OG have been aiming for some time. Miracles rotate up top, and it's pretty much entirely to try and secure the tower. They didn't need him for the kill, but to make sure they get this tower as well, he is needed.
Here comes the TP in. Short of level 6 on the Doom. However, there's the Lifestealer. Manages to grab No-Tail with the open wounds. No-Tail doesn't have his ulti. He's going to be able to brought down by the Satyr, as a matter of fact. And now there's a 2-mana respite. Going to buy some time. He hit 6 in the middle of that. He actually was short of it, but when that fight broke out, how is this going to be enough? It's going to be close. I think he'll survive.
Fly hitting that Impale, preventing any extra right clicks, saving Miracle there in the end. So really nice defensive play coming out from Fly's Lion, and salvages the situation a bit. And OG now find themselves hitting level 6 on Lion as Moon farms up enough money for a Blink Dagger. Bat plus Lion, that's like your 2-hero smoke. Everyone else, like, you're telling your Lycan, farm the map. We're going to go create some space for you. You're even telling Miracle, you can farm as well if you want, because Bat Lion are going to kill anyone they want right now with these two item/level pickups.
Miracle grabs an Invis rune. He's very low, did use a bottle charge afterwards. He's going to be moving down the bottom. It looks like they've got eyes on DDC. Really wanting to put this push power of the Lycan to good work early on. TP's going to be in. That's going to be Mikasa. And let's see. Yeah, he's actually going to go ahead and grab the creeps and pull them over. Miracle knows at least Mikasa is there. We can see the trap beginning to close as Crit is set up with his menagerie of creeps. No-Tail right there to the north as well. DDC hanging out, not yet level 6. He's going to throw the cast. That's going to slow the creeps down and do a fair amount of damage. That's probably going to be enough to actually turn this away. And now they're going to go ahead and chase them down. Crit's going to be caught with the coil. Miracle in the meantime engaging, very low health. End's going to be bursted down by Fly's finger. And now they're going to try to turn this around. DDC did manage to get away just by the skin of his teeth. Searing Chains did not go off in time.
Yeah, it was just barely on cooldown, and VGR have to just completely ditch that bottom tier 1 tower. They're trying to find trades elsewhere on the map now. The tier 1 tower mid gets glyphed. I don't even think they'll be able to take it before OG responds, and Yang at least getting some good farm towards his mech up top, but OG momentum favoring them here in the early game.
Yeah, that was a very, very big engagement for OG. As we can see, they actually take the lead for the first time all game and getting some momentum under their belt. Very important whenever you talk about a Lycan lineup. I mean, how many times have we seen it, David, where a Lycan is maybe doing okay farming well, then you just run into 1 or 2 bad team fights, and suddenly he's sputtering for the next 15 straight minutes.
And when you're on the dire side as well with this Lycan, it just means that natural progression towards Roshan, taking towers and objective, it just flows so naturally. That's where last game, VGR just snowball out of control. They get 1 or 2 towers, they get the momentum, they take Roshan, and it becomes a very clear just flow from one objective to the next, and you just kind of transition really well into the mid game and then into the late game if you need to.
There's going to be a smoke out of VG. They did just pick up the mech on Yang. Doesn't have the mana, does have the soul ring though, so he is rather mana starved at this stage of the game, but he is regenning at a decent rate, so should be able to get a fair amount done. And yeah, Arcane Boots pretty good to help with that, huh?
They run to Fly, not the ideal target, but it's a target.
Yep, Fly level 7. I mean, this, you know, he's not terribly under level. That's, I mean, he's the same level as the Doom and the Darkseer, so I mean, not a bad target there.
Yeah. It's something, and they're also remaining grouped up in this mid lane, so hoping to get a tier 1 tower to follow it up with the Lion dead.
And the tier 1 should end up dropping, as you said. Down it goes. Lycan in the meantime is continuing to farm away as Vlad's is done, and we'll see how they want to make use of that. It's going to be a Midas pickup on the Doom.
Ooh, we haven't seen much Midas Doom. Normally, It's FY. He plays a bit greedier some of the time, but mech already complete on Darkseer. So when you see like the Arcane Boot, sometimes you'll see a mech follow-up from Doom. Sometimes you get the drums, but FY deciding to look to secure a bit more late game for the VGR side.
How do you feel about the late game matchup here? If it does go very, very late, say 40 plus, 50 plus minutes.
I mean, Doom is just incredible late game with the ability to instantly take out one, and then if you go Refresher, 2 heroes at the start of a fight. I look at Batrider as well as a great late game hero if there's nothing to counterplay the lasso with. In this game, there isn't that like kind of insta counterplay. There's no Venge swap. There's no like Oracle, False Promise. So Batrider is going to be a great hero to have there as well. Ultimately, I think it will come down largely to the execution there. The carries like Lycan will fall off a little bit, but Lifesteal's in the same boat. These melee carries do get kited somewhat once you get to that late game stage.
OG trying to make something happen with a smoke there.
Well, they've got great vision here in this mid lane. FY is going to be very careful.
Someone TPing in, that'll be Yang. And they're going to go for it. Yang did get the soul ring off, so even looking at less health than he would have had to work with otherwise. And now FY actually wandered into harm's way as well. Caught between 2 towers. Don't worry, that won't be a problem anymore as the tier 1 drops. And that's going to be 7-3, and OG on the brink of elimination come out firing hard here in game number 2. And now they turn their eyes, their claws, and I guess their spears and everything else on Roshan.
It was really just patient play. They had the vision there, so they don't just have to jump on the Doom who they see first. They want to wait to make sure they can get more because they had such a positional and vision advantage. They wait till they see the more important target, the Darkseer. They kill him before he even gets a chance to use mech, and then they get the subsequent kill.
Up, here we go. He's going to come out, and there's the Lifestealer bomb. Flies immediately bursted down, and now just look at him go to work. Crit just being brought down bit by bit. Here we go. Coming in from the back is going to be Moon, though. Death Ward canceled by the Batrider. Now they're going to turn back on him, so a valiant effort out of VGR, but ultimately going to result in a triple kill going to the one person you wish you did not give it up to. That Ember Spirit played by Miracle. Really love the gutsiness of it all, but blows up in their face in a big, big way.
Yeah, if they get there a little bit sooner before Roche goes down, it could go a little bit better, but ultimately they had no lockdown, no way of controlling the Ember Spirit. And in a game like this, you're going to be incredibly worried. They don't have the bread and butter DDC line to lock him down. They don't have a good answer as far as controlling Miracle. The Blink Puck silence is nice, and if the Lifesteal has enough farm, you can try and blow him up with that Infest Bomb, but that's really all there is to it.
Well, we got a look at what this Lifesteal is going to be capable of. Been relatively quiet outside of an engagement up at top quite a bit ago. At least it feels like a long time ago. Does have that armlet up, now has his Sange. So we know what kind of damage he's going to be able to pour on. It's just a matter of is it too late? Is it too little too late?
And there's good control for him in the form of the Lion and the Batrider. Batrider's lasso goes through the Rage if needed, and Lion, you can blink Hex and catch him before he manages to pop a Rage if Lifestealer isn't careful. So this is not going to be the easiest game for him to dish out all the damage he'd like to.
Well, he's going to get another opportunity to show us how it's done as 3-man smoke gank crossing the river now. DDC leading the way, FY's behind him, Mikasa with the passenger, so 4-man smoke gank. And let's see if they're going to be able to find themselves a target. Lycan Wolf moving up. This
could catch OG really by surprise because of that Lycan, thinking they're safe with that Lycan Wolf.
Nope, looks like they may have. Yep, we see a lot of pings going off. In the meantime, Miracle's under an Invis rune. He's got eyes on Yang.
And they, I believe, caught a tiny bit of vision there as they smoke up themselves and they're looking to contest VGR, who have a lane ward. And again, these wards being bypassed. Really great smoke use from both teams.
And here we go. They're going to hook up with Yang. Yang, level 10. So short of his level 2 ultimate. And here we go. Miracle's going to go on in and be caught out. He's silenced out. And now it's in, just chopping away. Here comes Moon, though. Lasso onto Yang. Miracle manages to make it out of the line of fire. Great Earth Spike coming out of Fly. Seems like I'm saying that a lot these days. Miracle doing what damage he can, trying to keep himself safe. Bash from behind doesn't matter as he's able to chase down and find that Lifestealer. Send him packing. Next on the list, FY. And secure the kill. That's going to be 4 down, and I agree, Miracle unstoppable on this Ember Spirit. Still has not lost that Aegis despite 2 huge team fights going the way of the original gangsters.
Yeah, this is why you first stage Lion and deny it from VGR. Without that extra bit of follow-up lockdown, they can't kill Miracle in time. They actually get him in the silence with the Infest Bomb, but they didn't have the damage they needed. Perhaps that's where they want to commit the Death Ward from Witch Doctor. They waited till later on in the fight. I believe DDC is thinking, I want to throw my cask first and wait for some of the disables to be used. He waited for the arm of the disables to be used. He waited for the after the Earth Spike to throw Death Ward. So he got a long duration on Death Ward, but they didn't have the damage to kill Miracle. If they blow up Miracle at the start of the fight, he's got Aegis, so they don't even win the fight anyways. But and that's where it's just like, how do you win that fight if you're a VGR? The hero who initiates on you has an Aegis, and the only way you kill him once is by overcommitting to him. So there's just no out for VGR. It's just a straight up lost cause as soon as Miracle gets on top of them with the Searing Chains.
Well, the end result is another dire side lead this time. OG in good shape as they're sitting at about 7,500 gold up, about 10,000 experience as well. So you're talking, you know, the Life Stealer. I mean, what do you do? I mean, you've got the Sange. Everything seemed to be on track. You're able to do damage, you know, as the hero's built to function in a very small window of time. After that, you're kind of food if the control's on point, and it has been so far from OG. Yeah. What do you do other than just smoke? Like, that can't be the answer in its entirety.
You've got to wait out for the Aegis to expire, I believe, is going to be probably the first step for VGR, and then pick and choose your fights such that you can get a grab at the start, ensure that you get a good Doom off on a high priority target, such as the Ember Spirit, the Bat Rider before he uses a lasso, and then just use the control that the Puck and the Witch Doctor provide. The cast, the Dream Coil, these are the key kind of tools to keep Lycan in place while you try and isolate Miracle's Ember Spirit.
Makes a ton of sense. So if you're Mikasa, I mean, this game is falling apart very early. The idea of going straight to a Hex is probably a little bit of wishful thinking. Do you pivot your build on this Puck and go for something a little bit more obtainable, like a Dagon, as doofy as that is? We saw a move like that undertaken in a previous game, actually. A Puck who's just like, it's my last hope. Or do you just really hope that you manage to get the control and just add one more tool to the arsenal if you can survive long enough?
I don't think he'll get much from a Dagon. Then they've got enough damage output coming with the Lifestealer and just everything else like the Death Ward, but right now, high ground coming, and VGR have got to defend.
I don't know if they can. Moon's there. Actually managed to hold off. There's going to be a coil that went down, but it whiffed completely, and that's going to be the end of this Rax. There's a vacuum into the wall, but don't know that it's going to matter all that much. OG just has them on the run. Mikasa takes on the Life Stealer. Oh, there's going to be Searing Chains, caught two of them. That's going to put the Blink on cooldown as they're happy to go ahead and take the melee Rax ostensibly for free. The Aegis expired right before.
They just push so fast with that Necro 3 timing. The Howl with the Necro books, one like misplay, and then suddenly you've lost a Rax.
Yep.
And VGR weren't even expecting them to go high ground there, I believe. I think it wasn't until OG started hitting the tower like, oh, we're pushing this really fast. Let's just keep going for this until VGR defend. And VGR just don't have the items yet to fight into OG. The greedier build from FY means he's seeing on just a Midas with a Shadow Amulet. I believe, Shadow Blade coming out now, but Necro 3 gives you some detection. There's more than enough money floating around if OG want to buy a gem for Bat Rider as well. Sentry Ward's also just a possibility for Fly, so I don't see FY getting much out of this Shadow Blade pickup. Ideally, as I say that, he's going to probably just find a free kill, so what do I know? In terms of a team fight setting, he's not going to get anything out of it. But you're not picking this for team fights. You're getting this for the pickoffs.
Well, and this is also just one of those things where you're revealing that item. Oh, almost got denied.
Oh, my God.
That would have been bad. But, I mean, now that they know it's there, they're going to play a little differently. They're going to play a little more cautiously, and there's going to be the phase shift on Moon. Actually manages to Waning Rift and coil him. However, here comes some help. Mikasa, flame breaks there. Moon, damage there.
Pinging. Lasso.
Oh, man. The rich get richer. As VGR loses 2 at top, they did end up picking off the Ember, but ultimately barely worth it as this next outer tier tower, the top tier 2, is certainly going to die. I feel like that's actually a pretty big pickup for Yang. Needing the vacuum wall, not just for the vacuum wall, but having the Blink Dagger to synergize a little more easily with the Puck's kit.
And at this stage, OG will be ready to probably even break through another lane fairly soon. Ember has boots of travel, so if they want to continue up towards top, they can. But Necro cooldown is what they have to play around. So 50 seconds without the Necro book, they'll back off a little bit, perhaps wait for another pickoff before they try and push, perhaps even wait for another Roshan, which will be up in the next 3 minutes. And in the sense that the Shadow Blade doesn't help VGI, ideally you're finding those pickoffs in the downtime. That's right. What this item brings. During the downtime, in between fights, Doom will just go off on his own, try and find those kills, but when OG are going for Roshan as 5 or pushing with an Aegis, that's where the Shadow Blade won't actually help you.
Well, the Roshan will be up soon. It's actually a relatively small respawn time, about 30 seconds, give or take, from now. We'll see another Aegis on the field. And yeah, I mean, like, you know, I look at the Lycan, and No-Tail has just played a really good Lycan. Lycan oftentimes is, I mean, we did see the one doofy play where he kind of phase shifted a little bit early, shapeshift, excuse me. But other than that, you know, he's played cautiously when he needed to, aggressively when he needed to, may end up in trouble now, as FY is going to find him, and yeah, he's going to shapeshift. It's not going to matter, I don't think. I think Doom should be enough to bring him down here.
Heal? He's actually fine with the heal.
Wow.
That'll save his life. It's a maxed out heal. Very unique crit Enchantress build. He does this most of the time. This is definitely a crit thing, but you won't see, I would say, any other Enchantress going for this build in competitive Dota today.
Well, why just skipping an untouchable entirely?
Yeah, it's very much more farm and like glass cannon DPS oriented build. So you're trying to do a lot more damage in the team fight around your Impetus. Getting more stats means you have a bigger mana pool, a bigger HP pool to play around, and it's almost this mind game where people expect you to have untouchable, so they don't try and right click you in a fight. We've seen it. We saw it with Doom earlier, where he didn't want to use Infernal Blade on Enchantress. He could have done it and either pressured crit, forced him to pop a heal, or perhaps even gotten a kill. But the threat of the untouchable sometimes is just as good as the untouchable itself. Looks
like VG want to try to make their way to the pit and to contest. No, it looks like they actually maybe don't know what's going on.
You just can't really. Initiating is very tricky. We saw last time they actually got there with the puck blink in, but vision is non-existent around that area of the map. It's dire vision all over in mid lane around the Roche pit. They've got sentries to scout at the Shadow Blade, and VG are not ready to contest it.
Well, with that new Aegis, this could be a game-ending push unless VG can dig deep. And I mean, I feel like they're in much better shape now to deal with OG. They've got the Shadow Blade. It helps a little bit in terms of just being able to skirt around the fight, maybe find the right target a little easier. Really like the blink on Darkseer, being able to work a little easier with Puck's Waning Rift and Coil, but it's still going to take a truly astounding initiation, and they're still going to somehow have to kill Miracle twice when he's got a Battle Fury, a Yasha. No, they actually didn't get the Aegis down.
VGR are just waiting on the high ground to the north, hoping to find a pickoff in this area. They're not in the high ground. They want to get the flank on.
Well, they're going to try to come in from behind.
Moon's in a perfect position to scout it.
FY coming in. Here we go. No-Tail's going to shapeshift. And there's going to be the vacuum. Wall's actually off the mark. Fly gets the finger off, and Yang's going to drop in a hurry. Doom did go off on Miracle. FY taking damage from crit in the meantime, as FY trying to chase him as best he can. Devours a creep. In the meantime, they've managed to take the Ember out of the fight. Doesn't matter, as the Wolves, the creeps, and Big Daddy No-Tail going to work on the racks, the main target of priority. It's a 3-for-1 as of now. And Miracle back into the fight with the Ember Spirit after healing up. GG's going to be called.
Another Game 3. OG have bounced back once more, and it's the Miracle Ember Spirit. It's one OG, 3 games total today, and you got to imagine that's going to be like maybe a high priority ban going into this final game.
Well, I can't say it was a close one. This one, once again, a lopsided victory, just with the script flipped just a bit. And a really solid outing across the board, but again, No-Tail finishing 9-1 and 7. Doing a great job. Miracle doing what Miracle does, doing very well on the Ember. And it's hard to point to, like, well, for me anyway, this is where I would turn it to you. Point to me one or two things where it's just like, if that had gone differently and that had gone differently, this game would have gone differently.
I think the rotations towards Ember Spirit, if they could have tried to shut him down earlier. But the big problem is, like, who do you have to rotate? When you have this Witch Doctor, it's a much more passive support in the laning stage. So I think you go back to the draft a lot if you're VGR. You want to try and protect yourself from certain picks that you can't play against. The Ember Spirit, the Puck, these heroes, if you don't have a direct lockdown like a Lion, by committing to a Witch Doctor in the first stage, you're somewhat limited in your ways to counter these heroes.
Right. Well, 26 minutes, all the time it took, and don't know that there's a whole lot more to recap from our end. I'm sure the panel's got something to say, however. We're going to throw it to them right after this break. Again, you're watching the Star Ladder I-League Invitational. Game 3 of OG versus VGR coming up next. See you then.
E-gaming bets.